Good morning. Welcome to Presence of Light with Charlie Riverman Bergeron. It's a joy to be here and to share with you what comes up for me as I journey through my path work. And hopefully it presents you with some insight into your own path work as we move through this world as these beautiful beings of light that we truly are. So I'm going to wait a few minutes for everybody to kind of gather. Rachel, Amy, pleasure to see you, and I'm actually seeing you on the screen. I'm going to shut my iPad off, and it can be a distraction. So yeah, welcome to the new moon. This is an amazing new moon, I feel. I woke up this morning really not in a quandary, but questioning, what am I going to talk about today? And as always, I find something to talk about. And so today's topic became about a message that I was given yesterday. And I didn't think much about it other than I knew it was a message for me to confirm in me what I was going through was really perfectly in alignment with my greater good. And it was about integrating and transitioning. Although the transitioning word had it was a different word and a different frequency, but it meant basically the same. I couldn't remember it this morning. And that's okay, because part of that transition and integration for me was coming to terms with my memory loss and realizing I don't need it anymore. I don't need to worry about it anymore. If I don't have the information, I don't need it. It's simple as that. To quit driving myself crazy about everything that I'm forgetting or that I'm not being able to grab and move into the moment. And as I talk to people around the world during my week, I realize that I'm not the only one that's having memory issues. I'm not, not that I have a physical reason for it, but other people are also experiencing it and they have no physical reason for it. And so that deepened me to look at the angel numbers. I always, when I wake up, I like the numbers. I look up on Joanne Sacred Scribe's angel numbers, and you've heard me mention her before. And I just love the messages there because there's something, they're not telling you specifically, yet they really are at a deeper level. And so this morning it was 644 was the angel number. And I like that because it's got double numbers. It's 5, it's life, it's happening. So I look at it and I say, what is the message? And I read the whole thing, and I'm going to give part of it to you. I just excerpts and sort of my interpretation of it. And the sentence that struck me most was, your life mission requires that you be your authentic self and work on your life purpose and path. And as I thought into that, I realized how profoundly perfect. Nicole says she woke up at 11:27. Look it up on Joanne's Sacred Scribes. You'll be amazed at some of the message that you get. If numbers catch your attention, I've been playing with that for years, and I love it. It's fun. It's not, something to take totally serious, but it will resonate with you. And so this being authentic in your purpose in your life, this has been a frustration for me for the past 2 weeks, as I try to redefine myself and my position in the world. And this is that transitioning. We're transitioning from an old self into a newer, higher, brighter, more powerful self. And you can explain that 1,000 ways. I try to keep it simple. And as we do, all this old stuff keeps coming up and coming up. And it drives us crazy. And you know what your story is. I know what my story is. And yeah, some of it is really, really powerfully dark. How do we move through this? How do we transition from who we have been for our lifetime into who we are becoming in the same lifetime? It's profound. It's profound. We are becoming these true divine selves, and we're bringing that energy forth, and it's uncomfortable physically, it's uncomfortable emotionally, and you're not alone. This is why I do these shows, is basically to look at others and realize that you're my mirror and I'm your mirror. And what I'm going through, you're going through as well at some point. And this is an amazing process to be the witness of our own evolution. So the angel number was basically reminding us that our focus on the material world is creating an interference which is counterproductive to our universal self. Okay, and that's how I interpreted the message. And as a result of this focus, which is enhanced by our obsession with controlling the planet and everything in it, and all of life, all life forms, all the energies, the weather, each other, we are continually setting ourselves up for failure. Now, most of us don't do it on that grander scale, but if we look at our everyday life, we realize we're controllers. We like to think we're free and loose and carefree. Oh no, we want control. What is this obsession that we have with control and controlling everything around us? It's not a healthy practice. As we look around the world and we see the destruction, as we look around the world and we see the despair, we have to come to some sort of realization where we finally get it. This is my control. I'm not causing this big event, but my little events in my own life are all part of this collective consciousness that's obsessed with control. What does that look like if we just let go? Most of us go into fear. And it's a fearful feeling that it rises, because in that moment, we don't really know who we are anymore. We've actually created an identity by what we control or don't control. We've redefined ourselves as these, the word is coming, machines. They're almost becoming machine-like, that we do this, you push this button and that happens, do this, that happens. And we've been so obsessed with control that we've lost the energy of creation within us. And that's just coming through now. That's not in my notes. So the angels and guides are here encouraging us asking us to be patient, to ask them for assistance when we're stuck, to connect with them and realize that we're part of this greater whole of evolving energy. And we have to end the separation. We have to come back into the force field of universal creation. We need to focus more on our energy, the energy of our intentions, and send energy to our intentions that are aligning with our greater universal self, however you want to understand that. Make it comfortable, make it a comfortable understanding that you are this greater being, and make that more of a priority. So that's this morning's really message for me, for you, and I think you're all getting this in some way. So I think Catherine says we want security, perhaps through our, and that's a perfect example. And I'm going to try to follow you on the sidelines more closely as I step forward into this transition, because it's important that that security, that feeling of security. But what you see in the world, it's a false security, because anything can happen out there. What we need to do is look inside and feel security within us and feel comfortable with who we are in this physical body, in this energetic body, and feel comfortable and say, I have control over this. This is where the truth is. This is who I truly am. I have, and the control, word control, you can shift it for something less. To me, that's very, you still get the concept of I'm trying to control something, but you can look at it more in respect, something to utilize. I can utilize my higher self and feel security in knowing that my utilization of everything that I am is in a balanced and harmonious accord. Which leads me to another card. And the other card was this one. Isn't this beautiful? Yeah, that's a Hubble telescope picture of a light from a star that erupted nearly 5 years ago. 5 years ago. That's not something that just erupted 5 years ago. This is the message of the changing universe that we live in. And so too, if the universe and the stars are doing this, this is our connection. We're doing it too. We're not these just little blobs on a planet that's not connected to the rest of the universe. So when I look at that and I say, wow, no wonder I feel like I do. No wonder this is going on. Many people describe it in many different ways. And that's okay. The more ways we can describe it, the more people can tap in around the circle and look at it and get something from it. So I don't, propose that I have all the answers. I'm walking my path daily just like each of you are. But I think that that's what makes this palpable. That's what makes it realizational, that we can actually start to realize that you're not alone, that you're not the only one. You may experience it different than the person next to you in the room, but it's all basically the same process. So the message of that, it's called the Dreammaker card from Sacred Space Meditation Cards. And the message, the one-line message I drew from that was, the universe blends everything in a harmonious way. Think about that. The universe blends everything in a harmonious way. It may not look like it. That star exploding may not look harmonious. Yet its purpose is to spread its light, to spread its energy to the greater whole. And in doing that, it offers itself, not so much as a sacrifice, but it offers itself of its purity, of its creative purity, so that everything else in the universe can benefit from it. This is where we need to go as a race of beings we call humanity. is what can we do for others? And it may feel like we're exploding and blowing up inside. But when we're sharing that light, that love, that energy that we truly are, it becomes a beneficial force that everybody can tap into. Whether they choose to or not is their personal choice. And so it reminds us that the universe is, its past is not a memory. Yes, it's recorded. Many people talk about how it's recorded and what they call that. It doesn't matter. It is recorded in some form, most of the time in a way that we as humans cannot understand at this level, but we understand it in a greater level. This is why we seek shaman, or this is why we seek people who read Akashic records, seers, guides, because they have an ability, and many of you do that as your natural ability to tap into those recordings of the universe and bring back the messages for others. So in that case, you're not reliving it, but you're able to transition into whatever is confronting you, knowing and feeling comfortable that this is a natural process. That even in the midst of what appears to be chaos, there is harmony. The yin and yang are always active. The masculine, the feminine. New moon, the darkness. Full moon, the light. And here we are on this beautiful new moon, stepping over another threshold of ourselves, opening a doorway, which when you look at the night, it's pretty dark without the light of the moon. But there's nothing to fear there. There's nothing there that ever wasn't there when the moon was full. This is just us tapping into fear. So this evolutionary process, which is constantly in motion, because it's never static, is something that we humans need to be reminded of. And this is the message that's coming to me, is to remind me that my life process is always one of transition and integration. I'm always leaving one room and entering another. I'm always walking from inside to outside, or from outside to inside. There is always a movement, whether it be conscious, whether it be emotional, whether it be physical, where there's a transit area and there's a place where I get scared or frightened or hesitate or want to, because I can't see what's there, and it's the new moon. I can't see very clearly. I want to back away. You're safe. You're safe. I'm going to say it one more time, 3 times. You are safe within your heart. What appears to be fearful outside of this physical body, that's recorded in the mind, that's looked at and analyzed by the mind and by your past experiences in life, by your genetic coding of your ancestors, by whatever means possible, is only there to remind you that you're not there. It's to remind you that while that may have validity, it may have truth, you always have the opportunity to say, no, thank you. Isn't that amazing? No, thank you. And so as a result of that, I started to write some words, and I said, well, today I'm gonna do this a little different. I'm just gonna write what words come to me, and I'll talk about them on the talk. Be the witness of our own evolution. Yes, we are witnessing our own evolution constantly, Catherine. And what does that mean? We should not talk about what we witness. I don't know what that means. And it's okay not to know. And who are we talking to? Who is important that we talk to about anything? In essence, is really us. You see, this is who we are witnessing. We are both the witness and the subject. And in that light, if we witness and remain silent, we never grow. So this is the conversation, as always, is with you. You with you. This third dimensional physical self with this greater universal self, or what I also call our multidimensional self. And we're never not in contact with that. The only thing that happens is we can't communicate because we have these blockages and these fears that keep us from communicating with what we call angels, with what we call guides, with what we call God. We think we're doing it, and we are, but if the gate is closed, the message doesn't get through. And this is opening our hearts, because it's not going to come through your head. You're not going to communicate through this with them. You're going to communicate from this communication center, your heart. And so it reminds me, once again, for me, thank you, you're my teachers, that it's my heart, through my heart, which I receive these messages. And that fear of the loss of memory is exactly that, because I think it's coming here. And when I let go of that, this is what I talk about. This is what comes through. This isn't from a memory. This is happening live right now. Even though I wrote an outline, this is live, and I can change the topic on a dime. This is the amazing part of being that we are. That even in the midst of chaos and fear, in the midst of battle, we listen to our heart, we can change everything. So, once you wish you could reach a dimension to talk to your son, you can. Just talk through your heart. Don't talk through your head. This is exactly what we're talking about. Talk through your heart. I have a friend who went to visit her grandmother who was dying. And she asked me pretty much the same question. And I says, talk to them just as if they were standing right in front of you. They will hear you. You may not feel it, you may not think it, because your brain may not want to accept that. But don't ever not talk. Do not ever not communicate. Keep your heart open and keep talking. Let's see, where am I? I'm trying to scroll down and catch some of your comments, because they're really important right now as to what we're going through, that this is not a small process, that we are all here working on this pathway and trying to balance each other and hold each other's hands as we walk this pathway. Struggle. Yes, we struggle. We go into fear. All of these things are natural to us. This is part of the human physiology. We need to step a little deeper into our heart, and that communication goes up through the heart. It goes right through the brain. The brain can't even touch this, because to the brain, this is craziness. This is insanity. It will look at it and say, you're nuts. And other people will tell you you're nuts as well. And that's okay, because they're thinking of everything from their head, not from their heart. So some of the words that came up were interesting. So the first one was patience. Do we have patience? Let's have some patience. Let's not try to get it done. In our world, we're living at so fast a pace. Patience is gone. Nobody has patience. Nobody can stop for a stoplight. They're all impatient. Slow, balanced growth. Don't expect everything to happen overnight, although it can. When you're ready, when your mind has let go and your heart is in the driver's seat, things can happen in a moment. And it's a profound experience. We hear people talking about Kundalini rising and having these epiphanies. That happens when you're in harmony and total balance within all of your systems. And everything is a green light, and it's go, 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 go. And boom, there you are. Those are miracles. Expect them. Overcoming separation. When we look around the world, what do we see? We see so much separation. So much pain and suffering as a result of separation on all levels of our experience. So it's time to bring that back, come back into unity. The separation outside of us will change as we change the separation within us. How do we do that? Surrender. Nobody wants to surrender. What are we surrendering to? You're really surrendering to you, to yourself, to your true higher self, and all that it's connected to, and learning to trust that energy rather than the energy that keeps pushing you and shoving you and making you think you have to do something. That brings us to awareness, because we become more aware of who we are in this physical body. And at that moment, when we become aware, the next word is gratitude. What else but gratitude could we have? We have gratitude to a creator. We have gratitude to our guides, our angels, and we have gratitude to us. We begin to become thankful for us. That this isn't just some lost planet or a prison planet or a place to go to keep failing until you get it right. Those are the negative aspects we have accepted because this is what the brain recorded. And when you look at what the brain has recorded, you can understand why it would say all of that. I mean, there's no reason on earth that it wouldn't say that. It's perfectly logical. And that's what the brain is. It's supposed to be for logic. It's a calculator. It's the original AI. That's all it is. It's beautiful because it's alive. It's alive. It's not a robot. It's not a machine. It's a living computer. And we have to start respecting that for what it is and not overburden it with making decisions that we should be making from our hearts, because it doesn't understand the energy of our heart. So I get a few minutes I'm going to go over, I'm sure. Light of consciousness. This is the light of consciousness. Divine love. Spiritual gratitude. Living in grace. This is what we're transitioning to. This is the outcome of all of the work that we're doing. And we'll start to see it gradually, more and more, as we soften ourselves to this deeper part of ourselves that can't be dismissed or controlled or taken over. So as a last moment, I pulled an oracle card. My favorite is Kuan Yin, and it's the Spin the Silken Thread Divine, and I'll just briefly read the heading of this. In creating precious silks, there is a sorting process, sifting out that which is broken to find out which is precious and pure. You are commencing a new cycle, and it is time to allow for that which is more precious and pure, that which you wish to take with you into the future, to continue and to release that which does not align with your true heart. Sometimes we need to help ourselves access the new cycle by releasing bows from this or other lifetimes, releasing old emotional patterns and calling in wisdom and talents from past lifetimes. You are guided to accept this feeling now. Your past is calling you. It's calling to be cleared, to be released for the beauty and power of the past to be claimed in the present moment, woven together like a precious, rare silk. You, my dears, my dear hearts, my beautiful family, are silken threads in a fabric that's being rewoven by the magic and the presence that we truly are. So as we look at this period of transition, let go of the fear. Look at the sun and realize that you are as brilliant a light as the sun that's in the sky, even though on the new moon it can't be seen at night. This is just a new moon for all of us. With that, I'm complete. I thank you. I love you. I respect you. Thank you for being here with us this morning. Thank you for sharing on the sidebars. And thank you. May your week be filled with miracles. The miracles that you allow yourself to not try to figure out, but just receive. Bless you from my guides and angels to yours, and have a great week, and we'll see you next Friday. Bye-bye.